Hi guys, welcome to another Yarn Scrap Friday, and today is another Halloween special. I'm going to show you how to make this Frankenstein beanie, and this is for ages 3 to 10. I've actually put it on my small lady size mannequin head, that's why it looks very slightly stretched. It's a little bit too small for her, but I wanted to put it on this mannequin just so you could see how it fits. And this pattern includes little earmuffs at the sides, so it's practical as well as fun for trick-or-treating in Halloween. Yeah, so let's begin. So for this video we're going to be using some black yarn, and this is a super bulky, super chunky yarn. So this has a yarn weight of 6, so this is nice and chunky. And that's for the main part of the hat, and I'm using a very slightly smaller yarn. I just like to apologise if you hear strange doors creaking because it's so windy here at the moment. We've got the tail end of some hurricane or something or other. Anyway, we're going to be using a green yarn as well, obviously. And this is slightly thinner. This is just a bulky, chunky yarn. So this is a yarn weight of 5. The reason I've chosen this is 2 reasons really. The first reason is it's to make the skin colour look slightly smaller so that the hair, which is going to be black, stands out a bit more. However, the second reason is also I don't have a super bulky yarn in green. It's a bit of a cop-out. But there's no reason why you can't use just super bulky yarn for the whole video. Don't use chunky black to go with your chunky green. It would have to be a super bulky black and a super bulky green if you wanted to. Okay, so we're going to be using a 6mm J crochet hook. Back to my nice clover hooks. And like I always say, it's a good idea to have a pair of scissors and a yarn needle as well. So I always opt for the slightly sharper one. You can use blunt ones. So yeah, so let's begin. Okay, so we're going to start off with the black, our super bulky, super chunky yarn weight of 6 black yarn. And we're going to chain 5 to begin. So we're going to do our little slip knot, and we're going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into our first chain, which we can see there. So we're going to put our hook into that first chain, grab the yarn, bring it straight through the loop on your hook to do a slip stitch, and that creates a little loop of our chains, and into the middle of there you can see there's a hole, and into that hole we're going to work 10 double crochet. You can of course work 10 double crochet into a magic circle if you like using the magic circle technique, and making sure to go into the center and not the chain 1. Put our hook into there, bring the yarn through and do a double crochet as normal. You're just going round the chains, so you can ignore how many chains there are now. We need 10 of these, so there's 1, 2, 3, it's so windy outside, 3, 8, and as you get towards the end you may need to push them over. So we've got 8, just come up to the last 2, 9, and we're just going back into that centre hole each time, wrapping them around the chains, 10. So we've got 10 double crochet in that centre hole, and then when you've got your 10 double crochet, you just pull your tail end a little bit just to bring in that centre hole. It will bring it in a bit. Then you want to find your first double crochet, put your hook into there, into that stitch, just under those 2 bits of yarn, bring the yarn through and do a slip stitch, like so. So by the end of round 1 you should have 10 double crochet, either worked around your 5 chains in a loop or in a magic circle. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, and we're going to count this as a double crochet. Okay, so count that as a double crochet. Then we're going to yarn over and we're going to do a double crochet in the same double crochet that we just slip stitched into to join the round. So it's quite hard to see in black, but the same stitch that you slip stitched into, we're going to go back into there and do a double crochet again. So you end up technically with an increase there of 2 in the same 2 double crochets in the same stitch, because we're counting our 2 chain as a double crochet. Then in the next stitch over, we're going to do 2 double crochet. So we'll do 1, yarn over, go back into the same stitch and do another one, another double crochet. So you end up with 2 double crochet in that next stitch, and you want to do 2 double crochet in each stitch around, so your stitch count by the end of round 2 should be 20. So we yarn over, go into the next stitch and do 2 double crochet, 1, and yarn over, go back into the same stitch and do another one. So you just want to repeat that round, doing 2 double crochet in the next stitch, in each stitch around, until we get back to the beginning. You've got a stitch count of 20, including your chain 2. Okay, so 2 double crochet in each stitch around. 1, and same stitch 2. It's coming up to the last stitch. It looks like there's 2 left, but that's our last stitch. So I'll do 2 double crochet in there as well. 1, and back into the same stitch and do another double crochet. If you're new to crocheting, then it's worth checking out my beginner videos on how to do the basic stitches like double crocheting. This is US terminology as well. And that always looks like there's 1 stitch left, but that's what I call the fake stitch, and I can tell that because if you count your stitch count, it will be 20, including our chain 2. So just next to our fake stitch is our 2 chain. You can see there's our first chain and there's our second, which is very difficult to see. But you just need to slip stitch into that second chain. I just go under 2 loops there, and underneath there's 1 loop. Bring the yarn through. Be careful not to slip stitch into your first stitch, and do a slip stitch. Okay, so by the end of that round you should have a stitch count of 20, including your chain 2. So then we move on to round 3 and we chain 2 again counting that as a double crochet. But this time we're going to go, instead of going into the one we slip stitched into, the top of our 2 chain, we go straight into that first proper stitch. So go into that first stitch and do 2 double crochet. So 1, and go back into the same stitch and do another. Okay. Then in the next stitch we're going to do 1 double crochet just by itself. So the next stitch we just do 1 double crochet, just 1 by itself. Then in the next stitch we do 2 double crochet. So 1 and another 1 in the same stitch. So we've got 2 in there for an increase. Some more yarn. So we've got 2 in there, and you want to repeat that round, doing 1 double crochet in the next stitch, then 2 double crochet in the next stitch, then 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, all the way back to the beginning. You should end on 2 double crochet, and you should have a stitch count of 30, so it should have gone up by 10. So next stitch will just be 1 double crochet by itself, just 1, then 2 double crochet. So you're following a pattern of 1 double crochet by itself, then 2 double crochet, then back to 1 double crochet by itself, and 2 double crochet. Okay, so I shall do that and then I shall come back. Okay, so just got to the last 2 stitches, and it's the same again, 1 double crochet by itself. In the next stitch, just 1, and then 2 double crochet in the very last stitch. So 1 and another 1 in that same stitch. That's gone really sunny, so I'm going to try and sort out the light for you. Okay, so that's a bit better. Hopefully you can see a bit better. And of course you can see your fake stitch tricking you at the end, and just next to that is your chain 2. There's 1, and there's the second. So in that second one, top of your 2 chain, you want to slip stitch to join the round. Bring the yarn through, straight for the loop on your hook to do a slip stitch. So by the end of round 3 you should have a stitch count of 30 now, including your chain 2. And then we're going to move on to round 4, which is another increase round. So we chain 2 again, count that as a double crochet. Then this time we're not going to go into the top of our 2 chain, we're going to go straight into the next stitch, that first stitch, and just do 1 double crochet by itself this time. So just 1 by itself, and then we want to do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. So 1 and another one in the same stitch. Okay, and it should line up with your previous increase. You can see there, so you've got 2 there, 2 there. And then we want to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So in the next stitch we do 1 double crochet by itself, just the 1. Then in the next stitch we do 1 double crochet by itself. And then in the next stitch we can see we've reached our previous increase. We're going to do 2 double crochet, 1 and another one in the same stitch. You've got 2 in there. Okay, so you've done 1 double crochet in the next 2, 1 by itself, 1 by itself, and then 2 double crochet. Okay, and you want to repeat that round, doing 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, then 2 double crochet, which lines up with your previous increase. And again, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, all the way back to the beginning, repeating that pattern, and you should end up on a 2 double crochet and have a stitch count of 40 this time, including your chain 2. Okay, so I shall do that, and then I shall come back. So 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches by themselves, then 2 double crochet. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the last 3, and it's the same pattern again, 1 double crochet in the next 2. So 1 double crochet in the next stitch by itself, 1 double crochet in the next stitch by itself, and then finishing the last stitch with 2 double crochet. 1 and another one in the same stitch. And then we reach the beginning again. There's our fake stitch, just above that is our chain 2, first chain, second chain, and in that second chain, making sure, if you find your stitch count has gone a bit crazy, just make sure that you are working into the second chain and not the first stitch, because that will mess up your stitch count. So we slip stitch into there, keeping our first stitch nice and clear. Then we're going to move on to the last increase round to get to the size that we want, and very similar. I'm going to chain 2, count that as a double crochet, and this time we're going to do 1 double crochet, get some more yarn, 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So making sure that's where we slip stitch into, so into the first stitch we're going to do 1 double crochet by itself, and then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next stitch by itself. So we're doing 1 double crochet in the first 2 stitches, then we're going to do 2 double crochet, and you can see it matches up with our previous increases. So we do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. There's 1, go back into the same stitch and do another. So you've got 2 in there, matching up with your previous increases. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches this time. So we do 1 double crochet in the next stitch by itself, 1 double crochet in the next stitch by itself, then 1 double crochet in the next stitch by itself. So that's in the next 3, 1, 2, 3. Then you can see we've reached our previous increase, and we do 2 double crochet in there, 1 and another one in the same stitch. Then we just repeat that pattern, so a bit of green yarn. Repeat that pattern, so 1 double crochet in the next 3, so 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, then 2 double crochet, then repeat that again, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, repeat that all the way around to the beginning again, ending on a 2 double crochet, and you should have a final stitch count of 50 this time, including your chain 2. Okay, so it's 1 double crochet in the next 3. Okay, so just reach the last 4 this time, and it's the same again, 1 double crochet in the next 3, one by itself in the next stitch, one by itself in the next stitch, one by itself in the next stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and then the very last stitch, 2 double crochet, and you can see it matches up with our previous increase, 2 double crochet. So 1 and another one in the same stitch. And same again, there's a little fake stitch, which actually they get smaller. And next to that's our chain 2, first chain, second chain, don't confuse it with that first stitch. And then we just slip stitch to the top of our 2 chain to join the round, like so. And by now you should have a stitch count of 50. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the length part of the hat now, because I make my beanies all the same way. I do all the increases to get the size I want first, then I just do the length. So moving on to round 6, are we on now? I've lost track of what round we're on, but the next round, all we're going to do is we're going to chain 2 like before, but this time we're just going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch around, so we keep a stitch count of 50. So we do 1 double crochet in that first stitch, then it's just 1 double crochet in each stitch around, so just 1 in the next one by itself, so just a double crochet by itself in each stitch, no increases, no two double crochets. Okay, so I'm going to do that and then I shall come back. So just 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, so I'm just coming up to the very last stitch, and then we're the same as what we've been doing. We finish on just 1 double crochet. We don't finish on 2 double crochet, we just stick to our 1 double crochet in each stitch around. Then we just slip stitch into the top of our 2 chain. There's our first chain, there's our second. So making sure to go into there and not our first stitch. We do a slip stitch. Like so. So you should still have a stitch count of 50, including your chain 2. And you should see that it's sort of starting to curve in a little bit, and I'm working away from myself rather than this way. I call that the wrong side, that's the right side. So it should see it curving in a little bit like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start introducing our green now on this round. And what we want to do is, first of all we want to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 16 stitches. So that's just 1 double crochet in that first one as well, in the next 16, just 1 by itself. So that's 1 in the next stitch, 2, then in the next stitch 3, 4, next stitch 5, next stitch 6, 7, 8, 9, next stitch 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then on the 16th one we're going to join our green. So we go in as normal for our 16th, bring the yarn through as if doing a normal double crochet, yarn over and pull through the first 2 as normal, but before we yarn over to complete our double crochet, normally we'd yarn over with the black, bring that through. We're actually going to bring in our green yarn and just draping the yarn over our hook. I use my finger just down here just to hold it. I'm going to bring that through to complete my double crochet. So I'm introducing my green at the very end of the last stitch in black. And the reason for that, it just means that the colour change will be perfect and it won't be all jagged and disjointed. So now we're working with our green, and then we're going to do one double crochet in the next 16 in green, but we're going to do it with a jagged edge, and that's so that this then looks like a fringe on our little Frankenstein rather than just a straight edge. So to do that, we need to make sure we do one double crochet in the next 16 stitches, but we can do that how we want to. So for the first one, I'll explain as I go along. We yarn over as normal. I'm just going to go into the stitch as normal for the first one. Let's bring the yarn through and just do a normal double crochet in a normal stitch. But for the next one, I might want to work through the gap instead. So instead of going into the stitch, we go into the gap instead and wrap it round the gap instead, wrap it around the top stitch. And then for the next one, what we might do is yarn over as normal, and instead of going into the stitch or the gap, we might go into the previous double crochet instead. So to find that, there's our next stitch and there's the double crochet, and there is the previous stitch. So we might put our hook into there. And you have to make sure you keep it quite loose so you can work so it doesn't get too tight. Then do your double crochet as normal, and that stretches the green even higher. And then we might come back down and do a double crochet in the gap instead. So you really doesn't matter, you can follow how I'm doing it if you want to, or you could just work them the next 16 how you want to. Then the next one I might just go into the stitch as normal. So how many have we done so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we need another 11 stitches. So for the next one I might just do it as normal as well, in the normal stitch, like so. Then the next one I might go all the way back up to the previous stitch. So there's the stitch we would normally work into, there's the double crochet next to it and where it went into the previous double crochet. And I might do my double crochet in there. Then I might go into the gap. Then I might go back up to the previous double crochet. Oh, that's gone too far, that one. It went into the previous gap. So into the previous stitch. As you can see, I'm working it through the previous stitch. Then I might just go into the stitch as normal. So how many have I got so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need another 6. So I might go into the gap. 11. Previous double crochet for 12. 12. Gap for 13. Normal stitch for 14. Then gap for 15. And then I might just finish on a normal stitch. But what we need to do on the very last, make sure this is the last one. Let's just count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16. This is our last stitch. So on the last stitch, however you want to work it, we go in as normal, go for the first 2 loops, but we need to stop there and we need to bring back our black. Now what I need to do is actually fasten off here. You can sort of like just, you know, keep it connected and not cut it, but you'll end up with a load of loops inside. So I'm going to cut the yarn, and then doing what I did with the green, I drape the yarn over the hook, just hold it with my finger there and bring that through the last 2 to complete my double crochet. Just tighten tail ends, and now we're working normal, working with the black. We're going back to doing normal double crochets in the normal stitches. So as you can see here, if I turn this round, this, by doing these jagged stitches, has created a fringe-like effect for our Frankenstein rather than a straight edge. It's a lot more effective. And now that we've got a nice clean join with the colour, the green there, by joining it on the last stitch, we can finish up our round by doing 1 double crochet in the last 17 stitches as normal. So just work them as normal into the stitch. So in the last 17. So 1 double crochet in the last 17 by themselves. Okay, back to the beginning. Okay, it's just going up to the very last one, 17. Work it as normal, one by itself, and then we slip stitch in the top of our 2 chains. First one, there's the second. Don't confuse it with your first stitch. Do a slip stitch like so. You just done 1 double crochet in the last 17, one by itself in each stitch. And what we can do as well is just fasten off our green now as well. Pull those tail ends in a bit.